Hi, I'm Chelfyn and welcome to episode 8 of The Geek Show. Last week, Misbehavior took you on a tour of the internet using xkcd's excellent map of online communities. This map places practical issues to the north, intellectual to the south, puts real-world activities off to the west and more virtual activities over to the east. So, having flown down from the icy wastes of the newbie north, we came through the active communities in the west and then down through the central creative islands of Flickr and DeviantArt. Now we're crossing the straits of Web 2.0 to visit the Intellectual Archipelagos, and then we'll cross over the sea of memes to the ocean of subculture, where the geeks can usually be found, sailing the viral straits and fishing the teeming shoals of raw news. Wikipedia was launched in 2001 by Jimmy Wales and Larry Sanger. It attempts to collect and summarize all human knowledge in every major language. As of April 2008, Wikipedia had over 10 million articles in 253 languages. It's not without its faults, of course. There's huge articles on completely irrelevant topics. Jedi lightsaber combat comes to mind. And consensus opinion often trumps expertise. Over or underzealous editors and article vandalism are often rife, but it still proves itself to be of a similar level of accuracy to the old-fashioned Encyclopedia Britannica, and it's always a great starting point for any research into almost any topic. Just don't rely on it exclusively. It's the real-life version of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and contains much that is apocryphal, or at least wildly inaccurate. But it's been my first port of call for basic research now for as long as I can remember, which is around 3 weeks. Heading east now, passing over MIT, avoiding the incessant chatter of the geeks on IRC, we can catch a glimpse of Google's hidden volcano base as we descend onto SourceForge, as far as we possibly can get from those northern newbies. SourceForge is the home of open source. It's where geeks all over the world collaborate to make free software do almost anything you want. It's where you can find almost every open source project on the net, whether you want a bunch of free tools, free operating system, a replacement for Photoshop or Office. You can find it all at SourceForge. If you want to get into coding or if you need help, then it's the best place to go, as the communities there will all share knowledge happily with you. If you're a young artist with free time on your hands and willingness to work within some technical guidelines, helping these projects with skinning and interface design can be a great way to get some useful portfolio work out and help some of these fascinating projects along the way. The work going on this island is benefiting all humanity, and it's all done for free. You can see why we're fond of the place. I get a lovely homecoming feeling as we fly over the sea of memes to hover here over these social news and bookmarking sites that we're all addicted to here on The Geek Show. On broadcast TV news, you're lucky if you get a dozen stories covered in a day, and you can be sure at least a third of that will be celebrity fluff, another third about the crimes of the day, and then you get an equal amount on sport. Well, here in the modern world of social news sites, we watch the headlines streaming past by the 100 every day, complete with sources, citations, and a whole heap of news-obsessed geeks itching to point out every inconsistency. It makes newspapers and TV news look positively archaic, and it also shows that the news people search for and share differs wildly from that which is traditionally fed to us. Celebrities, murders, and crime barely get a look in, but technology, science, and medicine are always at the top. And of course, there's all the stupid stuff too. Yes, we have the lolcats, the Photoshop threads, the silly viral videos, but let's face it, lolcats are a big step up from Paris Hilton. Anyway, starting off with Dig, founded by Kevin Rose back in 1789, we can see here a typical selection of stories up on the front page. What's more interesting is a few of these lab projects they've got going on. Here we see several new ways of visualizing the news, showing real-time content flowing through Dig. Every news story, every upvote and downvote, you can see the effect here in these marvelous screens. If Dig is the mainstream of social news sites, then Reddit is the passionate fringe. Smaller but with incredibly effective forums where news stories get picked apart, debated and frequently laughed at. One fantastic service that's grown quite stealthily in recent years is StumbleUpon, which works primarily through its browser add-ons. And it sends you sites that it thinks you might like, based on sites you've liked before and sites that other people who are like you also like. I can say this for StumbleUpon, I've never been at a loss for somewhere new to go online since I got that button up on my toolbar. It always serves up something completely random, and about 9 times out of 10 I find it interesting. Like most of these great tools and sites, its biggest problem is really its addictive nature to anyone with a curious mind. Our final stop on this leg of the tour is the in Soviet Russia snow clone. A snow clone is a phrase with many possible substitutions. This one, the Russian reversal, is a joke originated by Artie Johnson on Rowan Martin's Laugh-In, and then popularized by Yakov Smirnov, a Ukrainian-born American comedian, painter, and psychology professor. Years later, it turned up as a meme on somethingawful.com, and then moved over to Fark, and from there, the world.